Time passes, and much is lost to its current. Yet some beauty is too profound to fade, treasured and etched into glass. Born from a fusion of local soul and foreign influence, this art evolved from humble altars to the halls of royalty. I'm Yoon Rakudo. Join me at Nam Sử Họa Kiếng, where his story and artistry converge. Hello. It's summertime and it's so hot that I've been so lazy to go out these days. But I heard there's another exhibition about Southern Vietnamese style of glass painting, so I think I should go and take a look. This is Nam Sử Họa Kiếng, which means the history of the South painted on the glasses. This exhibition is organized by Saigon Vivo and takes place at Annam Gallery. Usually, I first show my audience an overview of the exhibition before going into details. However, I feel like this corner is a very good introduction for my video. Here they showcase the basic toolkit of a glass painter in the old town. I will explain by the staff about the general process via these 4 pieces of glasses. Each of them illustrates one key step. So basically, they made a sketch on paper first, then transfer the lines onto the glass, which was masked with wax, then etching the line onto the glass using acid, and remove the masking, and finally paint on the back side of the glass. Sounds so easy to understand, huh? But not easy to really do it. I think the trickiest part from designing to painting, everything has to be flipped horizontally. In fact, later the staff showed me a piece was done beautifully but with a flaw in the design. And here is the overall space of the exhibition. If you have followed my channel, you might have seen this space in several episodes but with different exhibitions. Nam Sử Họa Kiếng exhibition is organized by the development of the craft itself. It starts with how glass painting began as simple home decor and devotional art. From there, we see its transition into royal spaces, and we wrap up with a look at something new in the medium. I must say, if the beginning part was so lovely and mesmerizing, the third part was very impressive to me. If you're still with me, now it's time to go look closer to the artworks. Southern Vietnamese glass painting is a vibrant form of folk art that flourished from the late 19th to the mid-20th century. Divided into 2 main categories, decorative and devotional, this art form was deeply prized for its brilliant colors, glossy finish and remarkable durability, making it perfectly suited to the humid climate of the South. The painting depicts a lively flock of chickens, symbolizing heartfelt wishes for good fortune and prosperity. Interestingly, a keen eye might spot a common flaw in these folkworks. The Chinese characters are sometimes wrongly mirrored, reflecting the unique reverse painting technique on glass. This work depicts the four seasons through an elegant display of flowers and birds in a rich symbolism. The set consists of 4 panels, each representing a season, evoking the eternal cycle of nature while conveying wishes for prosperity and abundance. Traditionally, these vibrant works take pride of place in the living room, bringing harmony and beauty to the heart of the home. The Eight Immortals is a widespread theme in East Asian folk art, deeply rooted in Taoism. Each immortal depicts a distinct power and symbolic meaning: resurrection, longevity, righteousness, authority, healing and salvation, good fortune, purity and happiness. Yet it is their unifying ensemble that expresses the profound idea of completeness and balance in life. This painting presents the Taoist pattern in a structured, tiered composition. At the very top reside the 3 supreme deities of the universe. Below them, the composition features more familiar deities and protective spirits. Finally, the lowest tier illustrates 2 vital religious practices in daily life: the aspiration for fertility and success. Presented here is a collection of devotional glass paintings, each deeply rooted in the syncretic folk beliefs of the region. While decorative works embellish living spaces and reflect the aesthetic taste of secular life, these devotional pieces are intimately tied to spiritual practices, playing a vital role in the heart of domestic altars. This coexistence showcases the medium's functional diversity and reveals the profound interconnection between art, daily life, and faith in Southern Vietnamese culture. Now we have these fabulous works on the Hue Imperial mirror painting. These works are kind of another level of glass painting. It's a decorative art form that emerged within the imperial court of the Nguyen dynasty. They may share the same glass medium as folk paintings, but these are far more refined. Reserved for the royal court, these works demand near perfect accuracy and are steeped in deep traditional symbolism. Here I will just talk a bit about my favorite artworks. I will post the description of all these imperial paintings on my YouTube's community. They're all from the exhibition catalog. This painting is a reconstruction of an original from the Hue Museum of Royal Antiquities and is based on a poem by Imperial Theatre. It's such a peaceful scene. I love how it's designed to pull you into that state of quiet contemplation. This painting is also a recreated version of an original piece, also a part of a poetry collection by Emperor Theatre. If you look at the center, there's a tiny pavilion tucked away among the mountains and pine trees. It feels incredibly peaceful, exactly the kind of place an emperor would go to escape and just think. There's a poem that goes with it, describing the scenery. It shows a world where nature is perfectly in order. These mountains and trees represent strength, lasting forever, and the beauty of living a quiet, simple life. Now this is my favorite piece, Khúc Chiểu Hà Huyên, a wooden pond filled with lotuses, vibrant yet refined. This painting to me captures a perfect balance, a peaceful life that is still incredibly rich and full. It contrasts with the next painting, a quiet life that seems to be far from the normal world. think this is a masterpiece. Look at these three mountains. They rise through the clouds into a heavenly world, showing us more than just a beautiful landscape. This image represents a deep connection between people, nature, and the divine, all living together in a perfect balance. The scenery is kind of majestic, reflecting the elegant and grand style of the royal court. Here, the mountains aren't just rocks and trees, they are sacred spaces for peace, long life, and wisdom. Notice how the painting is balanced. The three peaks line up perfectly in the center, giving us a feeling of strength and calm. There is something special about this piece. Unlike all the mural paintings you see here today, the original was lost to history. However, thanks to the dedicated work of Artisan Van and his team, it has been brought back to life. By studying ancient wood block prints from the Nguyen dynasty, they have carefully reconstructed the painting, staying true to the unique spirit and style of Hue Imperial art. Final section of this exhibition, we find several creative glass paintings by a new generation of artists. These creators have breathed fresh life into the medium, bringing in contemporary perspectives and modern ways of thinking. I know it's a big challenge to take traditional craft in such a new direction, and it requires lots of work, deep thought, and dedication to pull this off. I noticed that they were selling some items from this exhibition at the reception, so I asked, and they told me that there were 5 items for visitors to buy as souvenirs. These 5 pieces were limited, only produced on specific demands. Visually, they were smaller and simpler versions of the royal artworks. Instead of hand-painted, they were screen-printed on the back side of the glass. The price was quite affordable. Not cheap, but considering its limited number and uniqueness, I thought it was fair. Yeah, I bought 2 copies, one for myself as a birthday gift and another one also as a birthday gift to a good friend and also a supporter of mine. I saw many people came to the exhibition. I hoped there would be more and more know about the history of this art and also the history of the Southern Vietnam. I really appreciate your support and watching my videos so far. Thank you and see you again in my next videos.